Well, good evening, brothers and sisters. I'm Victor, or Torvix, here again for another Book of Mormon reading. Thank you to everyone who came by for the previous video. I was very grateful. Had some great discussions, learned a lot. We had the Leahona arrive in our readings, and it's fantastic. Chris the Casual, the guy that inspired this particular series of videos, himself has posted a video up. I think it'd be great if you guys went out there and checked it. I'll try and link it or share it in my comments. But he posted a really good video. He asked a really good question, and that is why do you need to pay tithing for a temple recommend? I know that this is always made a big deal of over on Reddit, and why is that? Now, I kind of understand why. I get the concept. It doesn't really affect me. My issues with tithing are not in relation to that. It's just purely, can I afford it? But I have no issues with paying tithing. It's a beautiful thing. But what are your thoughts on tithing? How do you respond to that? Because it's extremely important that we do it. It's biblical. It's Old Testament, New Testament, Gospels. It discusses it, raises it as the importance. What do you understand your tithing? How would you answer that question? If someone in your life approached you and said, why do you need to pay tithing for a temple recommend or go to the temple? How would you respond? I'm actually going to message my bishop and ask him the same question because I'm intrigued. I want to know the answers because this is one of those gotcha questions that Exmos and other apostates like to ask to kind of get people to kind of veer from the church. Because as human beings, we're kind of a bit greedy, a bit selfish, and we try and find excuses not to do things. And I suppose in the hyper-materialistic world that we live in, the sacrifice something is seen as an enormous thing. And so, he asked a very good question. I think it's very valid. And I commented on the video. I said, this is a great question. I hope someone wiser than I answers it. Because, he's on the right path. And we can't let apostates get in the way. We can't let Satan throw this young man off the path. We need him in the church. He's a great man, Chris the Casual. So if you have thoughts, please post it below, or you can click to the link and go watch the video on Chris the Casual's channel and share your thoughts there. But it's a good question. I understand, but not in a way that I can communicate. So I choose not to answer the question because I'm not capable of answering it appropriately or correctly. But what I can do is read. So yesterday we read 1 Nephi 16 up to 1 Nephi 17. Thank you everybody for their comments in the last video and the discussions we had. I'm very blessed to have such an amazing community of people coming and talking about this. Even those who disagree do so in a very respectful manner, which I respect and I'm grateful for. And so we will carry on. I'll read through this. It's quite a hefty one, but we will get through it. It's important we read them. I don't like reading them in half chapters. I've done it before where it's a really big chapter. I'll cut it in half, but I don't feel comfortable doing that. So I'm going to read through it, share my thoughts, and of course I hope you guys share your thoughts in the comments below. So let's get started. All right, we're back. Chapter 17. Nephi is commanded to build a ship. His brethren oppose him. He exhorts them by recounting the history of God's dealings with Israel. Nephi is filled with the power of God. His brethren are forbidden to touch him, lest they wither as a dried reed. About 592 to 591 BC. And it came to pass that we did again take our journey in the wilderness, and we did travel nearly eastward from that time forth. And we did travel and wade through much affliction in the wilderness, and our women did bear children in the wilderness. And so great were the blessings of the Lord upon us, that while we did live upon raw meat in the wilderness, our women did give plenty of suck for their children, and were strong, yea, even like unto the men, they began to bear their journeyings without mutterings. So as they're traveling, they're wandering the wilderness, and although they've got basic things, they don't have the elegant foods they had in Jerusalem. They're having enough meat to eat. Even sometimes it's getting a bit rough eating raw meat, and yet God always found a way to provide for them, and they grew tougher. From what I'm interpreting, they grew tougher, getting more resilient. They're kind of adapting to this harsher lifestyle, which not easy, but I can appreciate and I can respect their courage. And thus we see that the commandments of God must be fulfilled. And if it so be that the children of men keep the commandments of God, he doth nourish them, and strengthen them, and provide means whereby they can accomplish the thing which he has commanded them. Wherefore he did provide means for us, while we did sojourn in the wilderness. And we did sojourn for the space of many years, yea, even 8 years in the wilderness. And we did come to the land which we called Bountiful, because of its much fruit and also wild honey. And all these things were prepared of the Lord, that we might not perish. And we beheld the sea, which we called Irantum, which, being interpreted, is many waters. And it came to pass that we did pitch our tents by the seashore, and notwithstanding we had suffered many afflictions, and much difficulty, yea, even so much that we cannot write them all, we were exceedingly rejoiced when we came to the seashore, and we called the place Bountiful, because of its much fruit. God keeps his promises. God's commandments must be fulfilled. And it came to pass that after I, Nephi, had been in the land of Bountiful for the space of many days, the voice of the Lord came unto me, saying, Arise, and get thee into the mountain. And it came to pass that I arose and went up into the mountain, and cried unto the Lord. And it came to pass that the Lord spoke to me, saying, Thou shalt construct a ship, after the manner which I shall show thee, and I may carry thy people across these waters. And I said, Lord, whither shall I go, that I may find ore to molten, that I may make tools to construct the ship, after the manner which thou hast shown unto me? And it came to pass that the Lord told me whither I should go to find ore, that I might make tools. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, did make a bellows, wherewith to blow the fire, of the skins of beasts. And after I had made a bellows, that I might have wherewith to blow the fire, I did smite 2 stones together, that I might make fire. For the Lord had not hitherto, I know this word, but I always struggle to say it. Hitherto had not suffered that we should make much fire, as we journeyed in the wilderness. For he said, I will make thy food become sweet, that ye cook it not. And I will also be your light in the wilderness, and I will prepare the way before you, if it so be that ye shall keep my commandments. Wherefore, inasmuch as ye shall keep my commandments, ye shall be led towards the promised land, and ye shall know that it is by me that ye are led. Yea, and the Lord said also, that after ye have arrived in the promised land, ye shall know that I, Lord, am God, and that I, the Lord, did deliver you from destruction. Yea, that I did bring you out of the land of Jerusalem. Wherefore I, Nephi, did strive to keep the commandments of the Lord, and I did exhort my brethren to faithfulness and diligence. And it came to pass that I did make tools of the ore which I did molten out of the rock. And when my brethren saw that I was about to build a ship, they began to murmur against me, saying, Our brother is a fool, for he thinketh that he can build a ship, yea, and he also thinketh that he can cross these great waters. I noticed that whenever Nephi is about to do something great, something spectacular, something mind-blowing, those around him murmur. They whisper, they gossip, they speak against him. And I think it's something we can learn from, because if you and I are about to do something incredible, people start gossiping and whinging and holding you back and saying, no, it's too scary, it's this or that. And within reason, they might be right, depending on the situation. But I'm just noticing a consistency of whenever he's about to do something, his family murmurs. Something to consider. And thus my brethren did complain against me, and were desirous that they might not labour. They did not believe that I could build a ship, neither would they believe that I was instructed of the Lord. Again, after all these discussions that Nephi's had, after everything that's happened, after all these events where they've heard the voice of God and still they doubt, God himself has spoken to them. And they're like, no. Something we could all learn from there, I suppose. And now it came to pass that I, Nephi, was exceedingly sorrowful, because of the hardness of their hearts. And now, when they saw that I began to be sorrowful, they were glad in their hearts, insomuch they did rejoice over me, saying, We knew that you could not construct a ship, for we knew that you were lacking in judgment, wherefore thou canst not accomplish so great a work. It's a bit harsh, it's a bit negative Nancy. And and thou art like unto our father, led away by the foolish imaginations of his heart. Yea, he hath led us out of the land of Jerusalem, and we have wandered in the wilderness for these many years. And our women have toiled, being big with child. They have borne children in the wilderness, and suffered all things, save it were death. And it would have been better that they had died before they came out of Jerusalem than to have suffered these afflictions. So basically, we're better off dead than being here at the moment. And we'd rather our women died than suffer the way they're suffering. Again, nobody wants a hard life. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate their frustrations. But on the other hand, they've heard the voice of God, who's directly spoken to them. They've seen incredible miracles, and still they doubt. Behold, these many years we have suffered in the wilderness, which time we might have enjoyed our possessions, and the land of our inheritance. Yea, we might have been happy. And we know that the people who were in the land of Jerusalem were a righteous people, for they kept the statutes and judgments of the Lord, and all his commandments, according to the law of Moses. Wherefore, we know that there are righteous people, and our Father hath judged them, and hath led us away, because we would hearken unto his words. Yea, and our brother is like unto him, and after his manner of language did my brethren murmur and complain against us. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, spake unto them, saying, Do ye believe that our fathers, who were the children of Israel, would have been led away out of the hands of the Egyptians, if they had not hearkened unto the words of the Lord? Yea, do ye suppose that they would have been led out of bondage, if the Lord had not commanded Moses that he should lead them out of bondage? Now you know that the children of Israel were in bondage, and you know that they were laden with tasks, which were grievous to be borne. Wherefore you know that it must needs be a good thing for them that they should be brought out of bondage. Now you know that Moses was commanded of the Lord to do that great work, and you know that by his word the waters of the Red Sea were divided hither and thither, and they passed through on dry ground. So they're kind of speaking about the amazing miracle of people of Israel fleeing from Egyptian slavery, and the incredible. It's from that famous film, with the ocean parts and stuff. And it's an amazing film. I've not seen it in years. I saw it when I was a kid, but they're referring to that. But you know that the Egyptians were drowned in the Red Sea, who were the armies of Pharaoh. And you also know they were fed with manna in the wilderness. So I guess he's focusing on the fact that God provides, God takes care of, God will destroy your enemies, God will feed you, clothe you, house you. The commandments of God must be fulfilled. Yea, and you also know that Moses, by his word, according to the power of God, which was in him, smote the rock, and there came forth water, that the children of Israel might quench their thirst. And notwithstanding, they being led, the Lord their God, their Redeemer, going before them, leading them by day, and giving them light unto them by night, and doing all things for them, which were expedient for man to receive. They hardened their hearts and blinded their minds, and reviled against Moses and against the true and living God. And it came to pass that according to his words he did destroy them, and according to his word he did lead them, and according to his word he did do all things for them, and there was not anything done save it were by his word. And after they had crossed the river Jordan, he did make them mighty unto the driving out of the children of the land, yea, unto the scattering them to destruction. And now, do ye suppose that the children of this land, who were in the land of promise, who were driven out by our fathers, do ye suppose that they were righteous? Behold, I say unto you, nay. Do you suppose that our fathers would have been more choice than they, if they had been righteous? I say unto you, nay. Behold, the Lord esteemeth all flesh in one. He that is righteous is favoured of God. But behold, this people have rejected every word of God, and they were ripe in iniquity, and the fullness of the wrath of God was upon them. And the Lord did curse the land against them, and bless it unto our fathers. Yea, he did curse it against them unto their destruction. He did bless it unto our fathers, unto their obtaining power over it. This kind of makes me sad, because when I read about this, I kind of think of Australia, of my home country. I love my country, but they are definitely a people living in iniquity. They're definitely a people that are focusing more on their money and their real estate and less on God, and they're paying the price for such. but they're too involved in themselves to see it, and it breaks my heart. But also fills me with an energy trying to reach them. But that's in the hands of God. I have to serve. The commandments of God must be fulfilled. Behold, the Lord hath created the earth that it should be inhabited, and he hath created his children that they should possess it. And he raiseth up a righteous nation, and destroyeth the nations of the wicked. And he leadeth away the righteous into precious lands, and the wicked he destroyeth, and curseth the land unto them for their sakes. He ruleth high in the heavens, for it is his throne, and this earth is his footstool. And he loveth those who will have him to be their God. Behold, he loved our fathers, and he covenanted with them, yea, even Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he remembered the covenants which he had made. Wherefore he did bring them out of the land of Egypt. And he did straighten them in the wilderness with his rod. For they hardened their hearts, even as ye have, and the Lord straightened them because of their iniquity. He sent fiery flying serpents among them, and after they were bitten, prepared a way that they might be healed. And the labour which they had to perform was to look. And because of the simpleness of the way, or of the easiness of it, there were many who perished. And they did harden their hearts from time to time. They did revile against Moses, and also against God. Nevertheless, ye know that they were led forth by his matchless power into the land of promise. And now, after all these things, the time has come, they have become wicked, yea, nearly unto ripeness. And I know not, but they are at this day about to be destroyed. For I know they must surely come, they must be destroyed, save a few only, who shall be led away into captivity. Wherefore the Lord commanded my father that he should depart into the wilderness, and the Jews also sought to take away his life. Yea, and ye also have sought to take away his life. Wherefore ye are murderers in your hearts, and ye are like unto them. Ye are swift to do iniquity, but slow to remember the Lord your God. Ooh. Ye have seen an angel, and he spake unto you. Yea, ye have heard his voice from time to time, and he hath spoken unto you in a still small voice, but ye were past feeling, that ye could not feel his words. Wherefore he hath spoken unto you like unto the voice of thunder, which did cause the earth to shake, as if it were to divide asunder. And ye also know that by the power of his almighty word he can cause the earth that it shall pass away. Yea, and know that by his word he can cause the rough places to be made smooth, and smooth places to be broken up. Oh, then why is it that ye can be so hard in your hearts? So it's pretty much mentioning what I mentioned earlier. You've seen angels, you've heard the voice of God, you've seen miracles, and still hard of heart. Behold, my soul is rent with anguish because of you, and my heart is pained. I fear lest ye shall be cast off forever. Behold, I am full of the Spirit of God, insomuch that my frame has no strength. And now it came to pass that when I had spoken these words, they were angry with me, and were desirous to throw me into the depths of the sea. And as they came forth to lay their hands upon me, I spake unto them, saying, In the name of the Almighty God, I command you that ye touch me not, for I am filled with the power of God, even unto the consuming of my flesh. And whoso shall lay his hands upon me shall wither even as a dried reed, and he shall be naught before the power of God, for God shall smite him. So, basically, God's giving him some divine protection. You mess with me, you die. Pretty straightforward. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, said unto them that they should murmur no more against their father, neither should they withhold their labour from me, for God has commanded me that I should build a ship. I said unto them, If God had commanded me to do all these things, to all things I could do them. For if he should command me that I should say unto this water, Be thou earth, it should be earth. If I say to it, and if I should say it, it would be done. That is complete faith. God says I can do something, I can do it. If God said to me, this water is to turn to earth, it will turn to earth. Absolute faith. And now, if the Lord has such great power and has wrought so many miracles among the children of men, how is it that he cannot instruct me, that I should be able to build a ship? Valid. If you believe that God can do anything, Then what can't you do? And it came to pass that I, Nephi, said many things unto my brethren, insomuch that they were confounded, and could not contend against me. Neither durst they lay their hands upon me, nor touch me with their fingers, even for the space of many days. Now they durst not do this, lest they should wither before me. So powerful was the Spirit of God, and thus it had wrought upon them. And it came to pass that the Lord said unto me, Stretch forth thine hand unto thy brethren, and they shall not wither before thee. But I will shock them, saith the Lord. And this will I do, that they may know that I am the Lord their God. And it came to pass that I stretched forth my hand unto my brethren, and they did not wither before me, but the Lord did shake them, even according to the word which he had spoken. And now, they said, we know of a surety that the Lord is with thee, for we know that it is the power of the Lord that has shaken us. And they fell down before me, and were about to worship me. But I would not suffer them, saying, I am thy brother, yea, even thy younger brother. Wherefore, worship the Lord thy God, honour thy father and thy mother, and thy days may be long in the land which the Lord thy God shall give thee. It got to a point where they got so scared they thought he's God and tried to worship him. And he's like, nah, don't do that. Worship the Lord your God. Very powerful chapter. I enjoyed that. It kind of struck me a bit. A part of it made me reflect on myself as a citizen of this country. A lot of people watching are from United States, which have a different kind of culture and such. But here in Australia, it's definitely a secular state. It's definitely religion is discouraged, if not mocked. So, and we expect that when you read the Gospels, you understand that we're approaching a time in our spiritual development where we have to hold strong, hold tight to our faith, hold to the iron rod. And it just makes me sad that so many of my brothers and sisters here in Australia just outright refuse to believe. No matter what you say or do, they're just like, no. And it just breaks my heart. It makes me think, what can I do to break through that? What can I do to cut through and communicate? Also, the fact that the brothers finally, it took threats of death. Nephi said, if you touch me, you will die. You will wither and die before me. And then, only then, did it kind of cut through what was going on. I cannot wait to read your comments on this chapter, guys. And any feedback you have, I more than welcome it. Got a great community of both believers and non-believers, but all respectful discussions are welcome. Try and keep your questions in good faith. God loves you. God bless you. And please go to church. In Australia, it's Tuesday, so you've got a whole week ahead to organise. Talk to missionaries. If you don't know anyone, there's a link down below in the description. Click the link or cut and paste it or whatever, or just Google or Bing it or Yahoo search it, LDS Missionaries, and then they can help you find whatever you need. The only thing stopping you is you. So let's get you to church. Let's get you guys church and making friends and joining a community that really cares about Jesus Christ. God bless. Go to church.